Police headquarters. Just a minute, please. Detective Bureau, Lieutenant Marshal.
It's the telephone company supervisor.
Yes?
The subscriber at Parkway 3402 has just called the police station. The operator heard cries for help and the line went dead.
Oh, hold it. You got a short call car, Ed.
All right.
What's the address?
The telephone is registered to J.W. North, 3205 Wood Terrace, apartment 3.
3205 Wood Terrace, apartment 3.
Right.
Thanks.
Yes?
Get Sergeant Mulrooney to take my desk. I'm going on an investigation.
Yes, sir.
Hurry it up, Ed, this way.
What's the dope on the call, Lieutenant?
Oh, some dame called police headquarters, and then the line went dead. Telephone operator heard some cries for help or something, and the supervisor called me. That's all I know. Try the door.
Locked.
Yeah, well, most of these outside doors on apartment houses are locked at night. Ring the bell for the janitor.
Right. There it is.
Did you see any lights on in the building when we drove up?
I thought I saw one over on this side, downstairs. Somebody's fumbling with the lock now, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
This is the worst job I ever had. I've always having to get up in the middle of the night.
All right. Stop mumbling to yourself and show us where apartment 3 is.
Yes, sir. This way, Mr. Captain, sir.
Did you bring that guy to life?
Here it is, Mr. Captain, sir.
Knock on the door, Ed.
Right.
I don't think there's nobody at home, Mr. Captain, sir.
We'll find out about that. You beat it back to your room and get some clothes on and get back here.
Yes, sir.
Try it again, Ed.
No luck, Lieutenant.
See if you can see anything through the keyhole. Looks like the lights are on in there.
Can't see anything, sir. I'll beat on the door again.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a door opening down the hall.
Say, what's all the racket?
You live in this apartment?
I live in the next apartment here. What's all the trouble?
Did you hear anything in this apartment a few minutes ago?
No, I didn't. Why?
I don't know. Give us a hand with this door.
Okay.
What? Look, Lieutenant. There's a woman lying on the floor.
Yeah, and she's bound and gagged. Quick, give me a hand here.
Can I be of assistance?
Yeah, take her feet.
All right.
Yeah, lift her up
There.
there. Yeah.
Get
Bring
her
her
on
over
this
here. Yeah. There you are.
You know this woman?
I know who she is, that's all. It's Mrs. North.
And take this knife and cut the strips from around her ankles. Very well. You got some water, Ed.
Yeah, okay. Where'll I get it?
The bathroom should be right through there.
Oh, yes, it is.
I think she just fainted. Rub her wrist a bit, will you?
Who do you think tied her up?
Yeah, looks to me like
Lieutenant.
Yeah?
There's a dead man in a bed in the next room.
What?
A dead man. 2 bullet holes in his forehead. He's lying in a bed in there.
Oh, here, you take care of Mrs. North. Very well.
Right in here, Lieutenant. I found him as I went to get the water here. There he is.
Oh. Yeah. Dead, all right. 2 of them, right through the head.
Yeah.
A screen's been cut around the hook here. Whoever did it must have come in the room by the window.
things laying all over the dresser here, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
All the earmarks of a robbery. There's a jewel case empty. Here's an empty wallet.
Yeah. Well, you better get a call in this right away, Ed. See if you can scare up a phone in this guy's apartment next door and call in. Get Dr. Evans and a couple of fingerprint men out here right away. The dope, Doctor.
It's very evident, Lieutenant. 2 shots entering the forehead and passing entirely through the head were the cause of death. The man died without moving.
Do you think he was shot while he was asleep?
Yes. At least everything points to that conclusion.
Well, then that explodes the burglary idea.
How so?
No yig, not even a couple of amateurs are going to shoot a man just for the fun of doing it. They might shoot if the guy they were robbing woke up, but they wouldn't commit murder without cause.
What did the woman in the next room tell you?
I haven't talked to her yet. When she came to, she was hysterical. I thought it best to get your report first and then talk to her.
Well, that's all I can tell you until after the autopsy.
There's one other thing I'd like to know before you go, Doctor.
What's that?
How far away from the man's forehead was the gun held?
Fairly close. Not over a foot.
I see. All right, Doctor, thanks. I'll get the autopsy report this afternoon. When you finish here, leave by the kitchen door, will you? I'm going in the next room to talk to Mr. North.
He's kind of quieted now, Lieutenant.
Oh, that's good. I'll talk to her. Mrs. North.
Yes?
I'm Lieutenant Marshall. The man in the next room is your husband, I believe.
That's right.
Oh, now, ma'am, I want you to try to be brave and tell us just what happened here tonight.
Well, I'll try.
I mean, just try to stop crying, ma'am. It'll be a lot easier.
All right.
Yeah, that's better. Now, just start at the beginning and tell us everything.
Well, John and I had been to an early show. He was tired and went right to bed.
Just a minute. What time was this, Miss North?
About 10 o'clock.
Go ahead.
Well, John went right to bed. Not being very sleepy, I sat up for a while to read. I had been reading for perhaps 10 minutes or so when I heard a window open.
In your husband's room?
Yes. I thought it was John and didn't pay much attention. Then I heard voices, so I got up to investigate, and...
And what, Mrs. North? Come along now. Come along.
When I went into the room, a man grabbed me by the throat and pushed me out of the room. I struggled with him, but he threw me down on the sofa, and he started choking me.
Oh, take it easy now, ma'am.
I heard John wake up, and the man who was choking me called to someone in the next room to shut that guy up. I was almost unconscious, but I remember seeing a man standing at the foot of John's bed, take out a gun and fire 2 shots. Then I fainted.
I see.
Sometime later, I came to and found that I was tied. The room was so still, I knew that something terrible had happened, so I rolled off the sofa and worked the gag out of my mouth and upset the telephone stand. I remember calling for the police, but I guess I must have fainted again.
I see. Mrs. North, was your husband carrying a large sum of money tonight?
Why, yes, he was. Several $100s, I believe.
And were the jewels in your jewel box of much value?
Some of them were.
Well, it looks like a couple of hold-up men came in here tonight. Your husband tried to scuffle with them and was shot. Lucky they didn't turn their guns on you, ma'am.
Did you get a very good look at the men, lady?
Oh, yes. Can you give us a description of these 2 men?
I'm afraid I can't. You see, it was very dark.
But surely you must have noticed something about them.
Well, they were dressed in dark suits and were masked. That's all I remember. Oh, why did John struggle with them?
Oh, there now, man. Just try to calm yourself. You'll have to pull yourself together for the inquest.
The inquest?
Yes. The coroner's jury will hold an inquest, you know, probably in the morning. I suggest you lie down here and try to get some sleep. I'll leave an officer on guard.
I'll try.
We'll be back in the morning. In the meantime, don't worry. Come on, Ed. Oh, just a minute. I wonder if you'd show me just where you were lying when the hold-up man was choking you.
Why, yes, I was lying across the foot of the sofa, here, like this.
And you saw the other bandit shoot your husband?
Yes.
That's all, ma'am. Come on, Ed. We'll see you in the morning, Miss North.
That dame's the biggest liar I ever heard.
Yeah, don't I know it. Come on.
Where you going?
To talk to this fellow in the next apartment here. What's the name on the door?
Donald Woods.
Yeah. Oh, you still up, Mr. Woods?
Yes, I couldn't go to sleep after what happened here tonight. Believe me, I'm moving the first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and perhaps it's a good thing we came in here to see you tonight.
To see me?
Yes, do you mind?
Why, no, not at all. Come in.
Thanks. You know, I can't understand why you didn't hear those two shots in the next apartment tonight, Mr. Woods.
I can't either. Perhaps the burglars used a silencer.
That may be. How well do you know Mrs. North?
Hardly at all. I've only seen her a few times going in and out of her apartment.
I see. And Mr. North?
I didn't know him either.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Woods, as near as we can figure out, the shooting took place at 10:15. What were you doing at that time?
Oh, that will probably explain why I didn't hear the shot.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'm a rabid radio fan. I was listening to the Philadelphia Symphony. They were playing the Brahms Symphony No. 4 tonight. It's a very ponderous thing, very loud.
Oh, yes.
I probably wouldn't have heard the shot even if it had been fired in this room.
That's right. Now, Ed, would you ask Mrs. North to step in here for just a minute, please?
Sure thing, Lieutenant.
But really,
Now, that's all right, Woods. It's very nice to have Mrs. North sitting in there all alone with a dead man in the bedroom.
Right in here, lady.
All right. Come in, Mrs. North. Sit down over here, please. You know Mr. Woods, I believe.
Well, we've never been introduced. How do you do, Mr. Woods?
how do you do? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's no way to act. Why don't you two get friendly?
What do you mean?
Go on, get friendly. That's not the way for sweethearts to act.
Why, you...
Sit down, both of you. There. Now, don't think that you've been pulling the wool over my eyes. Now, that's it. That's it. Cry. I can safely say, Mrs. North, that without a doubt you are the poorest actress I have ever seen. And believe me, I've seen some bad ones.
I won't be a party to this.
I wouldn't want to either if I were in your shoes. Now, sit down. Now, listen, Mrs. North. You spilled the beans right from the start. You said you heard your husband call out. And the medical examiner said that the man was asleep when he was shot. That's asleep when he was shot. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two was when you said you saw this second man standing at the foot of the bed fire 2 shots into your husband. There are 2 things wrong with that. First, you can't see the foot of the bed from the sofa in your living room. And second, a man standing at the foot of your husband's bed couldn't hold a revolver within 12 inches of your husband's head, as in this case.
I won't stay here and...
Oh, yes, you will. You made some mistakes, too, Woods. In the first place, you said you were listening to the radio at 10:15 tonight.
Yes, I was. I was right here in this room listening to the Philadelphia Symphony.
That's a lie, Woods. You made your mistake by just one night. You see, I'm somewhat of a radio fan myself, and the Philadelphia Symphony is on tomorrow night, not tonight.
Well,
Now, we're going to sit right here in this nice, cozy room with our hands folded in our laps until you two decide which one of you killed that man and which one of you helped to do it.
Emergency Hospital in the 100 block on Kenwood Way. In the middle of the block, a hit and run. Calling car 45, car 45. An ambulance follow-up to 127 Kenwood Way. That's all.
Step on it, Sam. I'll crack the siren. Yeah.
Here's the car. Get back out of the way. Come on,
What's going on here?
The woman was struck by a car.
All right, stand back. Give us a little room. It's an old woman, Sam. Here, give me a hand.
Yeah, been hit by a car. The tire marks across her waist.
Well, there isn't much we can do for her until the ambulance doctor gets here. Just try to make her comfortable and...
What's the matter?
Feel her hand.
Why, it's cold.
Yes, and her body's beginning to stiffen. This isn't a hit-and-run case, Sam. Go to the box on the corner and call Captain Reynolds. Unless I'm badly mistaken, we have a very poorly disguised murder on our hands.
Sit down, Mac, and take it easy.
Thanks, Captain.
Sorry I couldn't get out to the scene of that accident when you called me. I sent Perkins, but he says you're not satisfied with the investigation.
That's right, sir.
What's on your mind, Mac?
Well, I know I'm not on the detective detail, Captain, but I've got some ideas on this case, and by all that's holy, they're right.
What doesn't ring true?
Everything. In the first place, when we reached the scene, the woman had just been found, and her hands were cold. In fact, the body was beginning to show rigor mortis.
Well, perhaps she'd been struck down earlier in the evening.
That doesn't fit either, Captain. Kenwood Way is a well-lighted street. There's plenty of travel both ways. At that time of night, there isn't a chance of a body remaining undiscovered for more than 10 minutes at the most. That woman had been dead 3 hours or more.
I see what you mean.
Then there's something else. Sam and I have answered a lot of hit-and-run calls. In every case where a person has been run over by a heavy car, their body never moves after it's hit. We found this woman lying face down in the gutter, yet the tire marks were across the front of her body.
You think she'd been killed elsewhere and her body carted to Kenwood Way?
You hit it, Captain.
It's pretty slim evidence, Mac.
All right, here's some more. This little old lady, whoever she was found in a house dress without pocketbook, gloves, or hat. Now, during these cool evenings, women don't go out without hat or coat and gloves. And if that isn't enough, there wasn't any dirt or grease on the back of her dress. And Kenwood Way is a particularly dirty street.
All right, McGrady. I'll push an investigation into this thing. And if you're interested, I'll give you a chance to follow it through. I'll try to make arrangements with your captain. Give me Captain Morris, please. Oh, come in, Mac. Anything new on the case?
Well, nothing worth mentioning, Captain. I questioned everyone in the neighborhood, and no one has ever seen the woman before. No one seems to know who she is or where she came from. I got something, though, Captain. Of course, it may not be worthwhile, but anything that looks like a lead would be welcome to me.
What's that?
Well, a fellow who runs a smoke shop near the scene says that a big blue touring car passed up and down the street several times just before the body was found. He says the last time it passed his shop, it was traveling at a high rate of speed.
All right. Put a pickup out on the car. Did you get a good description?
Not very good, but it'll be enough to go on. It's all we've got, Captain.
No, Mac. It isn't all we've got.
No?
No. Dr. Smith found a concussion on the side of the head that he said might have caused her death. He said it bore all the earmarks of a blow from a sandbag.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. If we only knew who this woman was.
Well, I have an idea that we'll know that very shortly. There wasn't a shred of identification on the body, but the morgue attendants filed a ring off the woman's finger, and it bore the inscription, to Jesse from James, 1879. I gave the news to the afternoon papers.
There isn't much to go on.
But it brought returns as soon as it was published in the paper. You know Frank Egan?
Oh, the fellow who was once hired by the city as public prosecutor?
Yeah. Called me up about 10 minutes ago. Said he saw the story in the paper and went down to the morgue to identify the body. He thinks it was hit and run. He's coming up here in a few minutes to give us a lowdown.
What's Egan doing now?
Oh, only private practice as far as I know. He's a good lawyer.
But a bum sport. I was in Judge McKinney's court one time when
Yes?
Frank Egan is here to see you, Captain.
Oh, good. Show him in.
Yes, sir. This way, Mr. Egan.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, Captain. You remember me?
Yeah. Sit down. This is Officer McGrady.
Glad to know you, officer.
How are you?
Well, I've identified your hit-and-run victim, Captain.
Yes?
Yeah, she's a client of mine, Mrs. Jessie Smallwood.
Are you positive of the identification?
Yes, I knew her quite well.
Where does she live?
Over on Trenton. I think the number is 1621. She's been a client of mine since her husband died. She hasn't a living relation, not a soul in the world.
Too bad.
Fortunately, she left enough money to cover funeral expenses. I'll make the necessary arrangements.
Not
of
so
course.
fast, Egan. We'll be compelled to hold the body for a few days, at least until the inquest.
Inquest?
Yeah. You see, we have an idea that her death wasn't accidental.
What?
Do you know of anyone who'd profit by her death?
I know. Who'd want to kill a poor, defenseless old woman? She didn't have over $100 to her name.
That's just what we're trying to find out.
Well, that's your business, but it looks to me like accidental death.
But not to us. Get your coat and hat, Mac. We're going out to the late Mrs. Smallwood's house on Trenton. If you'll just make sure of the address, Mr. Egan, you can run along home. You won't be needed.
This is the house, Captain.
Yeah.
The door seems to be bolted on the inside.
Let's try the back door.
All right. Say, I'll bet there's a door connecting the garage with the back part of the house.
Looks like it, Mac. Try the garage door. Yeah.
Right. It's locked too, Captain.
Now, let me try this key. There we are.
You'd make a good cracksman, sir.
I might try it someday.
This garage is clean as a pin. Since Mrs. Smallwood didn't have a car... Look out. Don't step there, sir.
What do you see?
A tire print, Captain. Look. Look at this. This is the same tread that we found on Mrs. Smallwood's dress. And here's a spot where the tire track stops for a foot or so. Captain, that space represents where Mrs. Smallwood's body lay when the killer ran the car over to make it appear accidental.
Yes?
Owens and Rivers got a lead on that car. They found it parked over on Adams Street. They're bringing a guy in.
Good. Send them in as soon as they arrive. Oh, Mac, you can lay off that phone a minute. Here's something new.
What is it, Captain?
Owens and Rivers just ran that big blue car down. They're bringing the driver in for questioning.
Now we're getting somewhere. Who's the guy?
They didn't say. What'd you find out on the phone?
Well, I called every insurance company in the book. One of them reported that Mrs. Smallwood recently took out three $5,000 policies on her life, each carrying double indemnity in case of accidental death.
There's our motive. Who was named as beneficiary?
They're looking that up. They said they'd call back around 6.
Come in.
Here's the driver of that car, sir.
Oh, good. Come in. I'm Captain Reynolds. What's your name?
Ed Buck.
Do you own the car that Officers Owens and Rivers found you in?
Yes, sir, but...
Where do you work, Buck?
For the city. I'm a fireman.
Where were you the night before last, between 6 and 12 o'clock?
Well, that's what they've been trying to tell you. I was on duty. I went on duty at 6 that night until 6 the next morning. Well, I have a dozen witnesses.
Have you any explanation for your car being on Kenwood Way the night before last?
I certainly have. I loaned it to a friend of mine, Red Fisher.
Fisher. Red Fisher. Look that name up, Mac.
You needn't do that, Captain. I'll give you all the information you want. Red Fisher served 2 terms in state prison for first-degree robbery. He used to hang around the station house after he got out. He seemed to be trying to go straight, so Cap McNeil got him a job.
Where?
I don't know. The job was driving for someone, but I never heard who it was.
You say Red Fisher borrowed your car?
Yep.
What did he want with it?
He said that he'd pull the rear end out of his boss's car and wanted to tow it to the garage.
How long did he use it?
I don't know. I gave him a note so he could get the car, but I don't know what time he brought it back. It was there the next morning when I went home.
Did you have any witness to Red Fisher asking for your car?
Yeah. 2 of the firemen.
All right. I guess Fisher's the guy we want. Get a pickup out on him, Mac.
Right, Captain. We'll have that bird inside of 24 hours.
Yes? The boy
Fellas just brought Red Fisher into headquarters, Captain.
Good work.
His mouthpiece is with him.
Who is he?
The mouthpiece is Frank Egan.
Egan, huh? Bring them both in.
Yes, sir.
Send a stenographer in here.
Here's the prisoner and his lawyer, sir.
Have chairs, please.
Thanks, Captain. Afternoon, officer.
Close that door, Mac.
Right.
You can sit over there, Mac. Now, Fisher, I don't mind telling you that you're in a pretty tough spot.
Says you. You both ain't got a thing on me.
Nevertheless, I see you brought a lawyer down with you.
Sure, I brought him. He's my boss. I drive for him. I'm wise to you, bulls. You'd frame me the first chance you got.
Frame you? Just like you said we did twice before, huh? Only this time we do it with a noose. Now, you listen to me. We have witnesses that you borrowed Ted Buck's car at 8 o'clock. You drove out to Mr. Smallwood's house and on some pretext or other got inside.
Says you.
No, there's two witnesses who saw the car drive into the garage. When you got inside the garage, you hit her with a sandbag and then ran the car over her to make it appear as an accident. Then, loading her into your car, you drove across town to Kenwood Way and dumped her out.
That's a lie.
I'd suggest, Captain, that you be a bit more careful in arresting my client. These things will have to be proved, you know. After all, you failed to show motive.
Hello? Yeah? Who? All right. Thanks.
Now, as I was saying...
Pardon me just a moment. Hello, Tim. Send the desk sergeant to my office with a couple of murder warrants. Right.
Couple of what?
Murder warrants, Egan. Murder warrants. That was the insurance company calling. It seems that in addition to managing Mrs. Smallwood's affairs, you also took 3 insurance policies out on her life, naming yourself as beneficiary. And, Egan, there's your motive.
Police headquarters. Just a minute. Police headquarters. Hold the wire, please. Something for you?
I'd like to see the captain on duty.
Who's calling?
Tell him it's Dr. Thornton.
Dr. Thornton?
Yes.
Just a minute. Captain Wells. Is it on business?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Captain. Dr. Thornton to see you, sir. Okay, sir. Right down the corridor. Second door to your left, Doctor.
Thank you.
Captain Wells?
Yes?
I'm Dr. Thornton.
Oh, come in, Doctor. Take that chair over there.
Thank you. Captain Wells, I want you to find my wife.
Your wife is missing?
Well, yes. Of course, it may be... Well, I don't know.
When did you see her last? The night before last. She left me waiting at the lobby of the Churchill Hotel. And I haven't seen her since.
Why haven't you reported the matter sooner?
Well, I kept thinking she'd return. You see, well, we weren't on exactly friendly terms when she left. I thought she was probably trying to punish me.
What do you mean by that?
I meant that we'd been arguing. You know, one of those husband and wife affairs. I didn't consider the matter serious, but when I called all our friends and they hadn't seen her and she didn't come home today, I thought it best to notify the police.
Yes, well, you did exactly right. Do you know of any reason for her disappearance?
Yes, I do. She carried $160,000 in her handbag.
What?
She was carrying $160,000 in her purse when she disappeared.
And you waited almost 2 days to notify the police?
Well, I tried to explain how it was. I thought that she was just staying away from home to make me worry.
Just a minute, Doctor.
Yes, Captain.
Come in, Bradford. Sit down. This is Dr. Thornton.
How do you do?
Dr. Bradford is one of our best men on this kind of work. Brad, Dr. Thornton's wife has disappeared.
Yes?
Yes. The last time he saw her, she was carrying $160,000 around in her handbag.
What?
That's exactly what I said. Well, now that Bradford is here, Dr. Thornton, I want you to tell us everything you can about her disappearance. And also, I want you to tell us how she came to be carrying a sum of money like that around in her purse. It was in bills?
Yes. Bills and negotiable securities.
Well, start at the beginning, Doctor.
Oh, the day before yesterday, my wife sold a valuable corner to one of the big stores. She had the money from that deal with her when I met her for dinner. She said that she felt like celebrating, so we went to a Churchill. It was there that she got mad at me for dancing with a friend of ours and walked out on me. She rejoined the party later, and everything seemed all right.
She still had the money?
Yes, I saw it several times during the rest of the evening. And she made quite a flourish when she handed the waiter a big bill for the dinner.
Well, then anyone could have seen it.
Yes.
Well, go ahead with the story, Doctor.
Well, we left the dining room and went out into the lobby.
What time was this?
About 11:30. She excused herself, saying that she'd be back in a minute or so, and I haven't seen her since that time.
You asked about her at the hotel?
Yes, I asked the head waiter and the woman in charge of the ladies' room, and they hadn't seen her.
What did you do then, Doctor?
I figured she was still mad at me and had slipped out. She'd done it before, so I just drove home and went to bed.
And the next morning, she was still missing?
Yes.
What did you do the next day, Doctor?
Well, I inquired around at all our friends and finally drove down to our ranch at Palomar to see if she'd spent the night there. But she hadn't.
I see. What do you think about it, Bradford?
Well, I don't know, Captain. She might just be out staying with friends, as the doctor says, seeing as how she'd done it before, but that $160,000 changes the look of things.
That's my idea. What's in the morgue?
Well, there haven't been any unidentified bodies for a week, Captain.
Well, you take Dr. Thornton back to the Identification Bureau and have Powers issue a general description of the woman. Get it on the radio right away. Send a picture and a story to the newspapers. And get the commercial radio stations to broadcasting for her. We'll need some quick action on this thing. Well, what's new, Brad?
Not much of anything, Captain. We're doing everything we can to find this woman, but it looks like a hopeless case. If you ask me, the dame's been bumped off.
Why do you say that?
Well, because no dame with $160,000 can stay out of sight for very long unless she is bumped off.
What did you find out on the east side?
Well, Evans and I talked to every stool pigeon we know. There's no sign of heavy dough down there. And if a regular pulled the job, we'd know it.
And if she's been killed, you figure the job was done by someone that we don't have a line on, right?
Sure. Why, one of the
Detective Bureau, Captain Wells. Now, put her on. The woman in charge of the ladies' room at the Churchill wants to talk to me. This might be... Hello? Yes, this is Captain Wells speaking. I see. Yes, we do. Well, thanks for calling.
Something on the Thornton case, Captain?
Yes, the woman in charge of the ladies' room says that she's been reading the newspaper account of the disappearance and that she is positive Mrs. Thornton didn't come in at all the night before last.
Uh-oh.
And what's more, she says that Dr. Thornton didn't come around asking for his wife like he claims. I'm thinking the same thing, Bradford. Now listen, you hustle out to the Churchill and see the head waiter. Find out if Dr. and Mrs. Thornton were there on the night Mrs. Thornton disappeared. And be sure to ask him if Mrs. Thornton paid for the dinners with a large bill.
Right, I'll be back within an hour.
That's the stuff. Hello. Hello, Evans. Listen, I've got an important job for you. I want you to dig up all the information you can on Dr. Wallace Thornton. Yeah, the dentist. Find out how much he earns, where he banks, how his credit is, and above all, try to find out if he has a safe deposit box in any of the banks. Take a picture with you. He may rent the box under a phony name.
See, you got my message.
Yes. Squire's called me home. I was just starting to undress. What's up?
Well, I talked to the head waiter, and the guy tells me that Dr. and Mrs. Thornton did not throw a party in the hotel that night.
Just as I thought.
After that, I went to the garage where Dr. Thornton keeps his car and made a few inquiries. I found that they had filled the gas tank the night of Mrs. Thornton's disappearance, and the next morning, after Thornton had used the car, they had to fill it again. I won't be satisfied until I know where all that gas went to.
Why, Brad, you don't think that...
I don't know, Captain. These torch murders are getting pretty popular these days, and gasoline, you know, makes a good fire.
Yes, I know.
Then there's another possibility. Dr. Thornton mentioned something about a ranch of his near Palomar. It'd take just about a tank of gas to go there and back. Say, I thought that maybe you'd be interested in driving down there with me tonight, Captain, to see what we can find.
Here's my report, Chief.
Good, that completes it. The only thing we lack is the body of Mrs. Thornton.
Say, I didn't get in on Evans' report, Captain. What'd he find?
Well, now, here's the whole case, boys, the way I have it summarized. Evans found out that Dr. Thornton has a safe deposit box at the Security under the name of Farstead. That box recently contained a huge stack of bills and negotiable securities. When we unlocked the box, however, they were gone.
Gone?
Yes. But Evans dug up the information that Dr. Thornton had recently paid a bonding company $150,000 on a 12-story office building that he's been planning to build for some time. Now, we've traced every source of the man's income. The only place that money could have come from was from Mrs. Thornton.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Dr. Thornton made 2 trips to his ranch. He made one the night Mrs. Thornton disappeared, and another, the one he told us about the next morning. Badford and I talked to the caretaker. He says that he isn't sure, but he thinks that he heard a car shortly after midnight. He told us that Dr. Thornton came in the next morning and didn't ask about his wife, but saddled a horse and rode out into the hills. Later, the two of them did some work about the house, laying some flagstones and cementing the bottom of an old cistern. That's... Yes? All right, send him in. Now, we'll have to work fast, boys. Dr. Thornton just came in. We'll talk to him in the next room. Come on. Now, you sit over there, Evans.
Right.
Take this chair here, Bradford.
Yes, sir.
Now, leave everything to me. Come in. Oh, come in, Dr. Thornton. Have a chair. You know Detective Bradford, I believe.
Yes.
This is Detective Sergeant Evans.
How do you do? You wanted to see me, Captain?
Yes, I did. We've discovered several new things regarding your wife's disappearance.
She's not...
What do you think, Doctor?
How should I know what to think?
Well, I'd think that you'd have a better idea than any of us, Doctor. However, let it pass. We've just found out that neither you nor your wife were at the Churchill Hotel the night she disappeared. We found out that you, under the name of Farstead, had a safety deposit box at the Security.
That's not...
Now, don't interrupt, Doctor. We found out that your own bank account was rather small, but that 2 days after Mrs. Thornton disappeared, you managed to pay $150,000 on an office building which you've been planning for over a year.
I saved that money, every cent of it.
Did you? Dr. Thornton, I'm going out of here for a little while. I'm going to leave you all alone with your conscience.
Well, Doctor, now what are you going to say?
What are you going to tell them now, Doctor?
Well, police know of your little scheme, Doctor.
What are you going to tell them now, Doctor?
They know that you weren't telling them the truth. They know you're lying, Doctor.
What are you going to tell them now,
You
Doctor?
been here an hour, Doctor? Why don't you tell them the truth? They know you're lying.
What are you going to tell them now, Doctor?
2 hours, Doctor. You're getting tired. 3 hours, Doctor.
4 hours.
5 hours.
6 hours.
7 hours. They know you're
What are you
lying.
going to tell them now, Doctor?
hours.
What are you going to tell them now, Doctor?
10 hours. You're getting tired, Doctor. Why don't you tell them you killed her?
Admit it.
Admit it.
Admit it.
There's a gun in the captain's desk there.
There's pen and ink before you.
Right, Doctor. A confession, Doctor.
Right, Doctor. Right, Doctor.
That's it, right? Right. I, Dr. Wallace Thornton, killed my wife for her money and buried her body in an old cistern.
Sign it.
Sign it.
Sign it.
No! The gun, Doctor. The gun. That's it. The gun, Doctor.
Great Scott, I forgot about that gun.
Why, look. What? Here's a signed confession, Captain.
He's dead, sir.
Yes, his conscience was too much for him, Evans.
Police headquarters, Captain Nelson. All right. Well, thank you, Doctor. Let's file your report with Sergeant O'Brien. Well, there you are, Tommy. Nothing to it. Dr. Armstrong just reported that death was due to exposure.
Yeah, don't try to kid an old hand at the game, Cap. That bird you found in National Park didn't die of exposure. Not in this balmy spring weather. That's just a stall.
Tommy, if I didn't know you so well, if I hadn't walked beats on the east side with your father, I'd toss you out on your rear.
You never saw the day you could do that, Captain. Us newspaper men come from hardy stock.
Yeah, the kind of stock that makes good coppers. Why don't you go back to the game, Tommy?
What?
No matter how many headlines you have your name under, you'll always be just a cop at heart. Just a dumb, good-natured cop.
Oh, yeah? Listen, Cap. Anytime I fall for that line, I'll join the Marines and go to China. If you had a nose for news, you'd be a newspaper man yourself. It's instinct, Cap, that keeps you in this business. Instinct.
Yeah?
Lady to see you, Captain.
Oh, show her in. Now, I got a visitor coming in, Tommy. If you're a good boy, you can sit in here while I see what she wants. But understand, any more yapping out of you, and out you go.
Okay, teacher.
Come in. Oh,
Captain Nelson,
yes?
I wonder if you'd mind talking to me for a minute, Captain.
Why, certainly not. Come in. Oh, take this chair, please.
Thank you.
Now, what is it, Mrs.
Gowan, Mrs. Martha Gowan. Perhaps I shouldn't have bothered you, Captain. I know how busy you police officers always are, but...
Quite all right, Mrs. Gowan. If you just tell me...
You see, I told the officer at the desk, and he just sort of smiled and didn't say anything, and
Well, if you just tell me, Mrs. Gowan. Now, what's wrong? Is someone in your family missing?
Well, not exactly, Captain. You see, it's my niece, Patricia.
She's missing?
No, Captain. It's her cat that's missing.
Tommy. Mrs. Gowan, what were the circumstances surrounding the cat's disappearance?
Well, Patricia was playing with the cat in the backyard when all of a sudden it bounded over the fence and into the yard next door. Running to the gate, my niece saw another little girl about her age snatch the cat into her arms and run into the house next door.
And did you inquire about the cat?
Yes. And they said that I must be mistaken, that there was no little girl living there, and that there was certainly no cat in their house.
Perhaps your niece was mistaken.
No. I'm sure of that, Captain. Patricia is exceedingly truthful.
How long have these people lived next door to you?
For more than 12 years. And, Captain...
What were you about to say, Mrs. Gowan?
Oh, there's something dreadful about that place, Captain. The Croxtons have lived in that house for 12 years, and never once have I seen them, except going in and out. Why, that house hasn't seen the light of day since the day they moved into it.
Why is that?
Because the shades haven't been up in 12 years.
Just what does this Mr. Croxton do, Mrs. Gowan?
I can't tell you that, Captain. He leaves home with his sister every morning at 8:30, and I hardly ever see them return.
Do they keep any servants?
Yes, an old man. A horrible-looking old man. I've threatened to move several times, but then, after all, why should I? They never make any noise. It's just the deathly silence.
Well, Mrs. Gowan, I'm afraid you've allowed yourself to become overwrought about the kitten. It'll probably come home. And if it doesn't...
Yes?
Well, I'll just stroll around and ask the Croxtons about it myself.
Well, Cap, how's the old cat hunter tonight?
Sit down and shut up, Tommy. I'm talking on the phone. Yes? And what time is it? I see. Well, stay on the job, Evan. I'll be around about 4.
Hey, you look worried, Cap.
I've been doing some thinking, Tommy.
That's rather unusual, isn't it? Yeah. How's it feel?
I'm in no mood for sarcasm today. I've got news for you.
You don't mean to tell me the cat has met with foul play?
No. But today I called upon the Croxtons. You know, Tommy, I'm inclined to agree with Mrs. Gowan. I don't know just why, but I do.
Yeah, it's your keen sense of perception working, Cap. Keep on, and you'll find that cat yet.
It isn't the cat that's worrying me, Tommy. It's the story about that little girl.
Yeah, but the Croxtons said there wasn't any little girl in their house.
Yeah, I know. That's what they told Mrs. Gowan. Today, they told me that the little girl hadn't picked up the cat, practically admitting that there was a little girl in there. They said she tried to, but the cat got away. I very wisely cast the matter aside and left.
Well, it's settled. What are you worrying about now?
Well, I had a talk with Mrs. Gowan's niece, and she impressed me very much as a youngster who always tells the truth. She said that a very ragged, dirty little girl had snatched up the cat and run inside.
And they're both screwy, if you ask me.
If you had a nose for news, Tommy, you'd ask me what I intend doing.
All right, I'll ask you. What do you intend to do about this matter, Captain Nelson?
I intend to get into that house this afternoon and find out what's going on behind those shades. And, Tommy, if you're a good actor, you can go with me.
There's a big fat to let you talk me into this, Cap. I look like a clown in this outfit.
No, you don't, Tommy. You look like an employee of the Municipal Water Company, and you better act the part. This Dr. Croxton is a smart man.
It's all a lot of hooey, if you ask me. What are you stopping here for?
One of the boys from the office was to meet me here. Oh, here he is. What'd you find out, Pete?
Nothing much, Captain. This guy Croxton runs a brokerage business downtown. Has a select clientele. Company name is Overton and Sons. A very retiring sort of guy. Keeps out of sight most of the time. Nasty disposition.
How about the wrapping paper you found in their trash box?
I took it over to Powers. He traced it to the Brooks Chemical Company. They said that regular deliveries were made to Croxton's house here, but they couldn't reveal the nature of the orders. Mr. Brooks understood that Croxton was an amateur chemist.
I see. All right, Pete, you've done very well. Get back to your post. We're going inside that house. Come on, Tommy.
I'm getting interested in this, Cap. All this talk about deliveries of chemicals and supplies. Say, you don't think that has
I'm not saying what I think right now, Tommy. But if you're half the cop that your dad was, you'll know that there's something wrong here.
But what?
Now, don't appear too interested when you get in the house. Croxton is out. The sister's the only one home. And from the glance I got at her this morning, she's as mean, if not meaner, than Croxton.
Think she'll recognize you in that getup?
Yeah, well, that's up to you. Start a line of patter and keep it going.
Yeah?
We're supposed to be water company inspectors. And it's up to you to keep the woman engaged in conversation while I get around and look at the house.
You leave it to me, Cap. It's an ugly-looking place, isn't it? I wouldn't live here on a bed.
Well?
Sorry to bother you, madam, but we're inspectors for the water company. We're running a new main through here, and we'll have to inspect and check the condition of your faucet.
But there's no reason.
Oh, just take a minute, madam. Come on in, Tim. You can take the upstairs taps, and I'll check the ones down here. Now, if you'll show me where the meter is, ma'am.
I'm sure that this is all a lot of...
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Company orders. Man's got to make a living nowadays. Why, you know, just the other day, 3 of the new inspectors were let out for missing a single house in the roof. Can you imagine that? A single house, and they let them out. Where's the kitchen?
Where's that other man going?
Well, he's going upstairs to check for the bath fixtures. I'll need your help in the kitchen, ma'am, if you'll just open the door. All right. It's a nice kitchen you've got here. Nice and large. You know, ma'am, that's the trouble with most kitchens. They're too small, make you feel cramped and uncomfortable. A man likes to be able to...
I wish you'd please hurry.
Yes, ma'am. Hurry up. That's me, you know. I got the company medal last year for reading the meters the fastest of any of the boys.
What else are you going to do in here?
Well, not too much more, ma'am. Now, if you'll just turn that tap on for me, please. That'll be enough. Now, the other one, please, ma'am. That's good. Now, are there any other taps down here? Any other laundry rooms?
No, there aren't. And if you're finished, I wish you'd please go.
All right, ma'am, but, man's got to make a living. With things the way they are now, things are pretty
Are you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll show you to the door.
Oh, my partner finished before me. Everything okay, Tim?
Everything okay upstairs. Did you make a motor test?
No. We can do that later on the outside. Let's take a look at the lawn hydrants and go.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry we had to bother you, ma'am.
Are you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Well, I guess that's all. Thank you, ma'am.
Find anything, Cap?
Just what I wanted. Quick, back around the corner here. Yeah, this will be all right. We can keep an eye on the house from here, and they can't see us. Look what I've got under my coat.
Holy smoke. A dead cat.
Yes, and I'm taking this cat to the police surgeon right away. I want to find out what killed it. I also found something else in that house.
What?
A dirty, ragged girl, chained in an upstairs closet. And, Tommy, that little girl is in a very dangerous condition. You keep an eye on the house. I'll be back within an hour.
What did you find out, Cap?
All I need to know. Come on.
Where are we going?
I had a search warrant issued. We're going into that house and release that little girl. But what?
Well, this guy Croxton went in there about 10 minutes ago.
What?
I'm sure it was him. He was a dead ringer for that sister of his.
Hurry, Tommy. They're onto us. The sister probably called for Croxton to come right home. If we want to save that child's life, we'll have to hurry.
Well, what did you find out about the cat, Captain?
All I needed to know. Don't ask questions now.
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing, though. That cat was killed with morphine. All right. Knock on the door.
What do you want?
I'm Captain Nelson from the local precinct. I have a warrant to search your house.
Well, I'm sure there must be some mistake.
No, there isn't. Come on in, Tommy.
Look out, Cap!
No, you don't. Junior, quick! The police! Get that woman quick, Tommy! Get her! Good boy. All right, now. Up those stairs, both of you.
Why, you can't do this. You haven't got a thing on us. You can't...
Oh, I can't, huh? Here, unlock this door.
I don't have the key.
Unlock this door.
All right. There.
Now, there's the little girl, Tommy. Get her loose.
Oh, gee, the poor kid.
Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Don't hurt me anymore.
We're not going to hurt you, honey. We're your friends. Here, let me take that chain off your leg.
No. Don't hurt me. Stay away.
Oh, no, honey, no. There. We're not going to hurt you. See?
Don't let them hurt me. Please. Please don't let them stick me again. Please don't.
Stick you? What do you mean, honey? Oh, here, don't cry.
I'll tell you what she means.
This dirty skunk has been manufacturing drugs in this house for years. This little girl was the daughter of one of his victims. And for more than a year, he's been keeping her chained in this closet, giving her morphine shots to keep her quiet.
That's a lie! That's a lie! You dare!
You dirty rat. Killing was too good for you.